Hey, this is Tomasa Makapinlak, known as the Self-Care Queen, and I'm here on this Tuesday, December 6th, to present to you 3 things that might be aging you that you are not aware of. And so I'm going to take a little bit of time just to breathe and work on myself while I wait for some folks to join me here on the Facebook Live. I apologize for being a little late. Part of it was like I was having some technical difficulties. And that's pretty funny because I know how to get around those things, but today somehow they seem to sneak up on me. So if you are on the Facebook Live with me, I'd love for you to join me. Hi, Callan. Really great to see you here. And let me know that you're here. Chime in, send a comment, and I'm ready to help you all out here. So anyway, I see that some folks have joined us, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started right away. So thank you for the likes, those of you who are giving those to me. And I receive the love that I give to you. Hi, Katrina. And Callan says, great title. It got my attention. I bet you, Callan. You taught me well. Anyway. Hi, Angela. Good to see you here. So, I want to go and I want to talk about 3 things that might be aging you that you are not aware of. And I got this inspiration. As you know, I am working on a book right now, and actually my book is actually finished. It's just a matter of, hi Valerie, it's just a matter of formatting and finishing the book cover and things like that, and then it's released. So that is a big relief off my shoulders here, and I'm really excited about it because I was doing some edits last week, and I came across something that I haven't taught you all about anti-aging, something that you could just do with mudras. And mudras, if you don't know, are hand poses. And now understand that these tools that I give you here on Facebook Live, they're just you know, a minute little thing that I'm teaching you, something quickie that you can do to release things and to help yourself. But of course, you know, there's more to it. If you've got the whole body flow to it, then you will see some big results happening for yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, you know, most of you know that I have this background of 5 elements. I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. I do body work style based on Chinese medicine and acupressure and things of that sort. And there's also a healing art that I do that comes from Japan, which most people cannot even pronounce. And what I do is I blend all this together with the chakras. And so I've come up with my particular healing modality called the vibrant energy flow system. So anything I share with you is a blend of many things that I have been doing for the last 20 years. And so I've learned all of this because I went through my own story, and I could tell you my story, but you can listen to that later. I mean, I have an interview there that I posted earlier today with the anti-aging TV secrets, and my story is told there, you know, how I got started doing this and how I was prematurely aging myself at the age of 30-something years old. And so it got me started doing this work on myself. But what I found was that I was not only feeling myself getting better health-wise, but later on when I looked at the pictures 20 years later, it's like, oh my God, look what has happened. What I've done is I have helped myself to slow down my aging process. And so that's what I do for many folks. I mean, I do so much more, but this is what has become clearer when you look at pictures. When you look at pictures of my clients, you look at pictures of my past pictures of what has happened. And so I decided that I need to share this secret with everyone, because everyone thinks that anti-aging is in a lotion or a potion or whatever, a cream that you put on your face. And so I know better than that. Anti-aging really comes from the inside out. And these are the types of secrets that I'm sharing with you. So, first offhand, I show you a lot of hands-on things to help you clear up, you know, health issues, but also they're helping on such a deep, deep level that you don't even realize that you are actually turning back your aging clock or even slowing it down. And so that's what happened for me. And that's what I realized. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started here on these 3 mistakes that you might be making that you're not even aware of that are aging yourself. So, I'm all about the emotions. Emotions show up in our lives. They show up in our bodies. They show up, when we're dealing with people all the time. And so emotions are like things like you're worrying about things. So I want to get started with that one because that is the main one right now. So we worry a lot. If you worry, raise your hand. If you think about something more than once, raise your hand. And I know I'm going to put my hand up because this is the flow for what we would call for a Gemini. A Gemini thinks. They think about things more than once. So that happens to be my sun sign. And so, worry, is one thing that actually gets you all riled up and thinking. And guess what? The worry shows up in your face. So here's the thing. In Chinese medicine, we have this thing called face flows. So think about face flows. Do you think that everything that is associated with the face flows, the disharmonies that come up because you need a face flow, would show up in your face? You bet it does. So the first one is worry. Worry is something that belongs to what we call the earth element. So when earth is out of harmony, we worry. We worry about our kids. We worry about our health. We worry about our aging parents. We worry about our business. We worry about money. We worry about a lot of different things. And so it shows up. And guess what? It's an anti-aging flow in one of my products. And it really belongs to this earth element because it starts right here underneath your eyes and it moves up on the face. And so can you imagine all the worry that shows up on your face, all the worry lines? So you're probably like, well, how am I going to stop my worry, Tomasa? I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'm going to show you at the end what you can do. So I advise you to stay on to the very end because I'm going to give you a mudra that is a powerful mudra that I've renamed it. The anti-aging mudra. How many of you are for that? How many of you want that? Raise your hand or give me some love or likes. So here's the thing is we show up with a lot of worry on our face. We might think that, hey, we got this stone cold face and that we can actually, people can't read between it, but it does show up in many different ways. Sometimes we have puffiness that goes on in our face. And so what happens with the puffiness? So part of it is our environment. It might be a very, humid environment, damp environment that we might live in. So that might show up on our face, our environment. And so again, that belongs to the earth element. Once again, I want to talk about this earth element piece here. So what happens is that when we start to worry, how many of you do some emotional eating? Like all of a sudden, you want something sweet to eat. Raise your hand if you've ever been there, or give me some likes and loves about that. Because here's the deal. When you start to worry, I know I do it, I go to the kitchen and I look for something sweet tasting to eat. And it always doesn't have to be sweet, but what it will be is maybe carbohydrates that has a hint of sweetness in it. So, it might be cookies, cakes, candy, chocolate, whatever, or it might be carbohydrates. So maybe you're eating simple things like potato chips and things like that. I don't really eat those things, not so much anymore. Maybe it's popcorn. Maybe it's, something that has a hint of sweetness in it. And maybe you find yourself eating crackers and things of that sort. And so what happens is it creates dampness in your body. It shows up as puffiness on the face. And then you wonder, why do I have these bags underneath my eyes? And so guess what? Your emotions are ruling you. And you are actually eating because of your emotions instead of handling them. And so we're trying to handle them and self-medicate with them with our eating. So instead, what if I taught you an energetic trick that you could do to work on yourself so that you don't go looking for those potato chips, or you don't go looking for the pastry or the candy or the cakes or whatever, or you don't go to the store shopping for those things, because you could be worrying and shopping for those things and bringing them into your house when you don't really want that, right? So, and then next thing you know, you're eating all these things, you're eating emotionally, and you're blowing up. And so I'm going to teach you something you can do. This is a quickie, but there's more I'm going to show you at the end that will actually help all three mistakes. And so it's a powerhouse mudra I'm going to give you. So of course you would hold your thumbs. So hold your thumbs to help you with your worry attitude. And I'm going to have you all just do that while I'm talking with you, because I want to move on to the next one. So this is how you can get started, by holding your thumb. So you just breathe, and so understand that the breathing will allow you to help you hold the thumb and release and let go. Because I know some of you are like, okay, I'm holding my thumb. So let's just relax your shoulders and breathe and hold the thumb. And you can choose which one you want, left or right. I know the camera shows me showing right. It looks like right, but it's really my left. I usually go to my left side. Left side's about the emotions. Right side is about the lifestyle. So if you find yourself eating all that stuff, that's lifestyle stuff. If you want to get to the heart of your emotions, I say go to the left side. Okay? So this is one way to get started. So continue to do that and breathe as I speak on the next one. And then by the time I finish speaking on the next one and give you the how, you can move on to the next finger holder. Okay? So the next one is, I like to talk about this one because I see it so prevalent in my clients all over the map here. And it's really a mask of what's really going on, and probably a mask of what's going on deeper, more vulnerable feelings that we actually are experiencing. But many of us are frustrated, and we might be frustrated about the littlest things in our lives here. And so I want to talk about what we call the wood element. And the wood element and the 5 elements, if you think about it, it's the trees, it's the plants. They swing, they sway, they sprout out, and they grow, right? So let's talk about this within ourselves. How does the wood element show up in us? So we look at something called our joints. We might feel a little frustrated, we might get angry, we might experience road rage, and we're about ready to flick someone off with our middle finger. So there you go right there. That's your cue to go hold your middle finger. And you can continue to hold your middle finger while I finish up with this. So, and what might you be craving? Because you're so frustrated, or you might be angry. So what we tend to crave when we're frustrated and angry is sour things. So maybe you might be going for those sour lemon heads. I don't eat candy, but I was just thinking that came up. Somebody was telling me, oh, somebody likes sour lemon heads. I'm like, okay, I can't even comprehend that into my life right now, because I won't eat that stuff anymore. But so you will go for those kinds of things, sour things that make your face prune up, right? So isn't that interesting that sour things kind of make you have a sourpuss looking face? The other thing is you're medicating. You're medicating your liver and your gallbladder. That's really what's going on here. And the way to do it is eat sour things. So I'm going to move on to something else sour that we all kind of go for, which you probably aren't even aware of. And that's alcohol. So I hear it a lot. I see it a lot. And I feel like it's very important to bring up, because I see that what folks will do at the end of the day, they've had a stressful day. And this is where frustration comes from, all our frustrations. At the end of the day, they're just building up, they're piling up one on one, right? Just think about the big ass pile you'll have of all your frustrations. That feels like a lot of stress, right? So raise your hand if you agree with me. I want to see some love there. So if you feel like there is, you feel stressed out about things, like, you know, everything's coming at you. Like this morning, I woke up myself. I get a message from my graphic artist that she's not finishing my book cover because she didn't know what I want. It's like, really? Could you just like call me and talk with me about this? Really? And so it's not the first time, but it's happened before. And so it's like, okay, can we talk about this? So I felt a little frustrated. I asked a friend of mine a question, and it just like ignored me on something. And so I was like, what's going on with everybody? Whoa. So I went, that's it. I got to go out and hike and sun gaze and take care of myself. And when I go out and hike and sun gaze, I actually do the mudras, which I'm going to show you a very powerhouse mudra here at the end to help you with all these three things. So you'll just get it all together. And so, anyway, what also might show up in your body is sciatica. So sciatica happens on the sides of the body, especially the sides of the legs, right? So you might feel some pain happening on the sides of the legs, where your pant seams might go, or it could even be in the back of the leg. Sometimes it shows up that way. And so this is how frustration shows up in our bodies, but also joints. So, I hear all the time from my elderly clients, they've got joint issues going on. Everyone wants to blame it on arthritis, and I'm not going to discount it because it's built up frustration over the years that we haven't handled. And so, guess what? So I teach them how to help themselves with their arthritis, because a lot of them have it right here in the pads of their fingers, which is interesting. It's not even on any of the wood element meridians, but it's a joint, right? This is a joint here. You've got a joint here. And they get knobs, Even I remember having one of my fingers here. Here I'm a practitioner. I was really frustrated in my life a few years ago. And I'm working on people, and all of a sudden I get this knobby thing on my finger. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And it hurt. I'm like, this is the arthritis people talk about? And then it's like, well, I wasn't going to own the arthritis. So I said, that's it. You know how to fix this. So I began to work on myself and hold that. And eventually the knob went away. The pain went away. I mean, I don't have it at all today. So that was a few years ago. So when people say once you get arthritis, that's it, BS. You can overcome it. I'm here to tell you that. So it's all about how you deal with your attitude, how you deal with life, energetically, how all of this comes together. So instead of reaching for that wine, what if I taught you to just reach for your middle finger? Because the wine is just self-medicating. But what if you could self-medicate without the side effects of wine? Because the side effects of wine, I mean, you can have a glass of wine to celebrate. I'm all for that. But to have a glass of wine at the end of the day because you have a stressful day, I'm not for that. I'm like, let's go work on ourselves. So when I go to celebrate, like my girlfriend wants to take me out because I finished my book, and she's like, we have to go out for a drink. I said, sure, we can go celebrate that. That's cool. That's for celebration. It's not because I'm frustrated because my what do you call it? My graphic artist, just kind of said I can't finish the book cover because I don't have this piece from you, so I'm just going to give it to you. It's like, what? How? Where'd that come from? Okay. So it's like, okay, I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to go deal with her. I'm going to go deal with the graphic artist and get her to finish that book cover the best way I can. Because she's the best. She's done so much for me. So anyway, so hold your middle finger, and it will help you in so many ways. So I want you all to breathe, relax your shoulders, and breathe. Exhale, release and let go. So frustration does show up in the face, and I'm going to share something with you. There's something called a gallbladder meridian. Meridians are like energetic rivers that run through your body. And so we can't tangibly feel them and see them. We might feel them on an energetic level. Many of us do, who are empathic, and we might see them on an energetic level. So a lot of gallbladder energy shows up here with lines here. So the frustration. I remember in my 30s, oh God, I was married at the time, and I had, I remember my husband at the time was unemployed, and I would go to work, and I'd come back, and I'd have this this look of frustration on my face all the time. I remember this. It was like permanent. And so, today I try to okay, Tomasa, are those lines still there? And so, yes, these things come about because, past things in our lives that have happened, that we've experienced, that we dealt with. So it's imprinted on us. And so you can move through that, and it doesn't have to be so imprinted on your face so much anymore. So I still have a little bit of lines there, but I used to have this, this painted look on my face all the time because I was so frustrated. I had this husband who couldn't work for 9 months, and I had 2 little kids at home, and I was trying to make things work in our household, our marriage, and being the big breadwinner and holding down the fort, holding down everything. And I was so darn frustrated. I remember those days. I'd go to work, and I'm sure people are like, what's wrong with Tommaso? And so that was back in my corporate America days. So anyway, so the gallbladder meridian will run down, it does actually run all throughout the face here, and it will show up here, right here in the forehead. So all of those lines of frustration will come about here. So the easiest way to help yourself get unfrustrated is to hold your middle finger and begin to breathe. As soon as you begin to relax yourself, your lines will start to decrease. Your face will start to relax, and you will actually feel better. And so you won't be aging yourself so much. So let's talk about the inside of it as well. So I talked about the liver and the gallbladder energy. So you bet it is affecting it. So it's going to get you to stop drinking that wine at the end of the day if you start holding these fingers. Seriously. And so will that help you on the inside to not have cirrhosis of the liver later on because you had a glass of wine every night because that was your way to deal with your stress? Heck yeah. So this is one thing. Also, the eyes. The eyes tell us so much. So this, by the way, this element, this wood element, rules the eyes. So how your eyes are about, are you able to see things? So your vision will change. I actually remember giving myself this flow that I'm creating in my product. It's actually, which I call the stress-free flow. And I would do this flow on myself like daily. And because these flows are bilateral, I do them on both sides. And what I found would happen was that my vision changed. I remember going to the eye doctor because I had been wearing glasses since I was in 3rd grade. So I went to the optometrist, and he looked at me one day and he said, your vision is improving. And I'm like, here I am in my 40s then. And I go, really? So I got this little smirk on my face because that stuff is really working on me. And so it does change, y'all. I'm here to tell you that it does help. It might take a little bit while and patience, but understand that what I'm giving you is some tools so that you can help yourself increase your life and have more energy, and also, take the aging, the premature aging off your face. I had it going for me in my 30s. I was on the road to aging myself fast. And I didn't realize that until I went back to look at past pictures and compare a picture today. Today I'm 53. And people go, really? I'm like, yeah. I told somebody the other day, I might look like a spring chicken 30, but I really still am 53. So it's kind of funny. But, here's the thing, is that when you take the time to do this energetic work on yourself, you find yourself more relaxed. You don't let everyday life push you around. You don't let it stress you out. You deal with it differently. And so instead of reaching for, I want to say like substances, like food can be a substance addiction. Really, if you're eating the wrong types of foods, that's the truth, right? So, what you're craving is telling me what's going on with you. It's telling you what's going on with you as well. And so, clearly, you can actually turn back the clock with energetic work. And it will also help you to crave, maybe you're craving certain things, but will also help you to want to eat well for yourself. That's really the truth. So, so we're going to move on to the next one. So you guys been holding your middle finger? Let me know if you've been holding your middle finger. I always like to choose the left side because I'm an emotional being. I own that emotional stuff. Yes. I used to not own it, by the way, because it's like, no, I'm okay. Very masculine way to be. I learned that well in corporate America, and then when I got out and started practicing the healing arts, I started to feel myself, feel my emotions, feel, feelings, and I'm still learning on the deep, deep level of how to be that and do that and have it be okay. I went and had a good cry this morning while sun gazing and hiking and talking to Father Sun and holding my mudras and just let it all out. And sometimes that's what's needed. It's like, okay, I'm ready to get my day going. Let's go. So I encourage you to do it because it really clears you of all this mask that we wear. And so, you know, let's take off the mask and just be real with ourselves here. So the last one I want to talk about, and I say this one because this is really anti-aging from the inside out. And everything I've learned in my studies, in my practice for the last 20 years in Chinese medicine happens to be like, this is the key to anti-aging. And so there's an element, and I think I have said it when I first started my Facebook Lives, like the water element really needs to be taken care of. And right now, it's very interesting that we bring this up. We are in the midst of the season for the water element. How many of you feel like you really want to rest more? Like you want to sleep more? You're sleeping longer hours. I know at the end of the day, my days are full right now. At the end of the day, I don't care. The other day, I was like, it was 7 o'clock at night. It's like all I wanted to do was go lay down and sleep. And I had a good sleep. And so it's like it gets darker earlier. We have shorter days. And what you're finding is that you need more rest. And it's so funny because this time of year, everyone's out there shopping or doing whatever they're doing, the buzz with the holiday parties and getting ready for the holidays. When really, we need to be going inside and being with ourselves and listening internal. I was just talking with a friend this morning. She wanted me to get a read on her, tell her what needed to be clear to move forward in her life. And I just went, I'm just really getting real clear that you need to just go inside. This is not about finding things outside of yourself. This is really about getting inside of yourself and being quiet and listening. And that's meditating or contemplation. Because I used to spend 1 to 4 hours a day contemplating. And I went, yeah, well, guess what? You need to go back to that. That's where you need to go. And hear the messages. Because she says, I'm not hearing what I need, what Spirit's not talking to me. I'm like, because you're not quiet enough. You need to get quiet to hear it sometimes. And so if you're buzzing around all the time, it's hard to hear the messages. And so it's time to just sink into that feeling of that oneness. So you can feel that oneness with Spirit and hear the messages that are being given to you. Angela, I hear you. Wow, what's tiring, honey? Good, you had a good relaxing work trip. Okay. Anyway, so I want to get to this heart of this. So this element is the water element. So it's really about being quiet with yourself. Mineral products and water to, yes, use mineral products and water to heal the body. I totally agree with that. So here's the deal. How many of you crave salt? This is a big one. It's so cute. I remember doing a talk at the beginning of November at the Holistic Moms Network here locally in the San Francisco East Bay. And I asked each of those moms what they were craving. And it was a very key thing for me to understand where they were. So it was either sweet, and some of them had salt. And so when this element is out of alignment, you will crave salt. Think about the seed. It's salt, right? So what's happening here is bladder meridian runs in the head. It runs on the face. It starts here at the top of the eyebrows and it goes behind and it runs down the back of the body. So you might find that your back hurts. So when this is out of alignment, you'll find that your back hurts. You might say, oh, my aching back, even your shoulder blades. I got a mom who comes to me, man, those shoulder blades. And I have to tell you that when I was a mom, so totally out of balance when I first found this work, it was my shoulder blades, right between my shoulder blades and my spine. I felt so much aching pain there that it burned. And that's where I held a lot of my stress, but also what I realized is because my project was asthma and the lungs are behind there, inside that cavity there, your body cavity there. So that was where I held a lot of my stress. And so this water element is so key because it can trigger, if it's out of balance, asthma. That's really the truth. And so you'll know when that water element is out of balance because you got the dark circles going on underneath your eyes. And so people think that dark circles can be concealed. And it's like, well, you know, the truth is they will prevail. And as we get older, a little bit of dark circles continue to grow and happen. So, you know, I shared this in one of my videos about the water element being out of whack when those dark circles show up. But also, I want to correct some things. I mean, I try to give you a layman's version of what I'm talking about because I don't want to bring my Chinese medicine jargon into you. So there's something that we call like prenatal chi that we show up because when we are born or right before when we're conceived, our parents, it depends on the health of our parents, you know, your father, your mother, and that integrating and making you into that embryo, and then you growing and growing and growing. And so what happens is you have this thing called prenatal chi. And actually in Chinese medicine, they call it Jing, J-I-N-G. So it's kind of like this preconceived amount of gene that you get when you're born with. And how you use it up determines how long you will live your life, how fast you will age yourself. It's a really key component in anti-aging from the inside out. And so I've talked about this before, how stress can be so hard on the jing that it dredges the water elements. And so then therefore, you know, then you find yourself aging prematurely, aging fast. If I hadn't caught my problem back in the 1990s when I was in my 30s, I could have been looking much older than what I look now, instead of looking younger than probably what I look. So, you know, if you don't catch it early enough, then yeah, and actually you can reverse it at any point. I'll say that because I look at my clients. I have a lot of elderly clients in my practice as well. Some of them are in their 70s. I got a 90-year-old client. I've got some 80-year-old clients, and I watch them, and they're able to stay active because of the work that I do on them and because of the work that I've taught them to do on themselves. So understand, just because I work on them doesn't mean they're off the hook for maintaining their bodies themselves, because by the time I get to them, I'm taking them deeper, whereas, you know, I give them homework, hey, help yourself and do this. So this is daily maintenance for themselves. And they all look great. I wish I could get a photographer together. Maybe I have to contact Lindsay or someone to get all my clients together here in the Bay Area, my elderly clients, and look at and see how they look. And you wouldn't believe their ages. But this is what this water element is about. So when you do hit those elderly years, you know, those senior years we call them, that you are able to stay active, that your brain stays active, that you're able to think, and that you're not so forgetful and things of that sort. So because the truth is that this water element does work on the brain. Look where the bladder metering goes. You know, it starts at the top of the eyebrows, or actually in the corner of the eyes, and it comes up the top. And it, you know, this is all where the brain is, right? So this is going to help you think and to remember things. So, you know, this is true anti-aging from the inside out. We can talk about the dark circles, but, you know, the dark circles is just an indication letting you know what's out of whack and out of balance. So that water element really, I want to drive home, is very important when it comes to anti-aging. And so much that I actually have created a flow called the Ageless Flow that specifically works on the water element. So many of you have learned some of the finger things with me, you know, what finger helps with which element or which attitude and things like that. But let's also talk about the emotion associated with the water element, by the way. I want to back up and mention that to you, because the emotion, which many of us have been feeling, I've been feeling it since the election, the USA election, November, from everyone, is fear. And so everyone's been talking about fear. You know, they're just like putting it out there. They're scared that our country is doing this and this and that. I've even expressed to my sister a couple of weeks ago, I'm more concerned about the security of our country at this point. You know, what's going on here, you know? Everyone's fearful about the stock market. I just talked to a friend yesterday. She's like, oh my God, I was going to finance my Tesla because I was going to you know, I was going to refinance the house, go from a 3.25% interest rate to 2.75, and then the election came, and afterwards it went up to 4% and I'm thinking, as I'm driving, I'm talking to her on the phone. I'm like, I don't even want to hear this. I really don't want to own that. Okay, don't let that get into you, Tomasa. So I'm listening to the fear. I'm hearing it from everyone. I'm hearing it even from my senior clients. They're more concerned about their children, their grandchildren. What's going to happen to my grandchildren with all the changes that are going to happen, with all of this. And, I happen to be in California. We happen to be a little bit more freer and liberal. And so, that's just kind of the way things are here. And so everyone's concerned about that. And throw that on top of all your own fears that you have personally in your life. So this is the collective fear that I've been feeling. So how do we get a hold of this collective fear? Because it's aging us. It is. It's aging us collectively as well, if you think about it. So how can we get a hold of it? So many of you know that the index finger helps, right? Holding the index finger. So hold your index finger, relax your shoulders. It's going to help you relax your shoulder blades too, and your back, knees. There's so much associated with the water element. So much shows up. It's a very important thing. I can't tell you, when I was in school studying this, I was like, oh my God, this is a really key, element to really understand how it's affected by the other elements. Because the truth is that if we don't get this one under control, then everything goes out of whack. And so we'll be craving salt. We'll eat salt things, salty potato chips. So liquid potato chips belong in both the sweet and the salt. Understand, because they are carbohydrate, a simple carbohydrate. But then we put salt on them to, satisfy that salt craving. Popcorn could be a carbohydrate, simple carbohydrate, but then we put salt on it to make it salty, right? So it's the salt. So we're craving the salt. So I say, if you're going to have salt in your life, now Angela was talking about, products from the sea, mineral products. So I have shared this in the past, very important piece. If you're going to have salt, go get yourself some seaweed. Wonderful thing. Comes from the sea. It's packed with nutrients. It's going to help you with that water element. It's my go-to thing if I'm craving salt. Oh my God, let me go get some dulse. I like to eat dulse leaves. And dulse is a form of seaweed that comes from the Atlantic Ocean. There's a place in Maine that you can order it from. It's great to eat. You can even use dulse flakes and put it on your food. Or, sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, things of that sort. Baltic sea salt, period. And it's full of nutrients such as iodine. Excuse me, I am freezing out here. I do it outside because the light is better here. And so, but it is cold here. It's probably like 50 degrees maybe. I should put my coat on. Anyway, I promised you that I was going to give you a powerhouse mudra. This is in my book, by the way. And it's the anti-aging mudra. I've decided to name it. I try to name the mudras according to what they do for you. And so, here's the thing is, guess what? It touches the thumb, which helps with worry. It touches the index finger, which helps with fear. And it touches the middle finger, which helps with that frustration and anger that you might encounter. So what you want to do, let me see how I can share this with you all. Okay. You want to take your 3 fingers and you want to take your thumb and cross that and hold it that way. And then the rest of your fingers go on the inside of the palm. And so just hold that like that and breathe. Notice that I did it with I grabbed my left fingers. That's what I tend to do because I'm an emotional being and I own my emotions. So let's just sit here and let's just breathe. A couple of breath cycles. Exhale. Inhale. Callan, I don't know if you're still on here. I have a question for you. So last time I did Facebook Live, you were going to go find your product that Natalie bought you. So I'm wondering if you found it or not. If you're on, please share. So continue to breathe, you all. Relax your shoulders. We exhale to release and let go. Let go of all your worries. Let go of all your fears. Let go of all your anger and frustration. I don't know about you, but I feel my shoulders totally relaxing as I release and let go. And then inhale. Receive the life force energy of spirit moving through and as and of you. Continue breathing. And hold those fingers. So thumb goes across middle, index, and thumb. And the rest of the fingers go in the palm. It's an awkward way for me to share it, but I want to make sure you guys see it. This is a mudra I do when I am off sun gazing and on my hike every morning. I do actually a bunch of mudras. And if you get my book, you'll see them all in there. So continue to just breathe and feel how that feels for you. And those of you who are feeling a difference right now, share with me what your experience is with all of this. I want to hear from you. Please, please, please. Would love to hear from you all. Okay, don't we all type in so fast, quickly? So the anti-aging mudra I've shared with you today. So if you would like to have more information on how you can continue to stop your aging clock, to stop aging yourself, you can go and get my non-medical formula to help you stay youthful from the inside out. And that's a free gift. And that's at www.selfcarequeendom, queendom instead of kingdom, okay, queendom.com/non, N-O-N, dash medical formula. And so you should be able to find that there. And it will give you access to a video that actually will help you center yourself and bring all of this together. It's a good overall flow so that you can balance your hormones. You can actually balance all these elements I just talked about were the key to, you know, helping you stay youthful from the inside out so that you are not aging yourself prematurely. And so that you get down to the nitty-gritty of why you want to not crave certain foods anymore, because you'll just go for the things that are good for you. So thanks for the love and thanks for the likes and hearts, and love you right back. Mwah! So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you found it valuable, I ask you to please share with your friends. Leave a comment below. If there's something that you'd love for me to address, please send me a message in my Facebook Messenger box, and I'm happy to address anything that I can help you with. I have a lot of knowledge over the years, 20 years experience doing this work, and a lot of it comes from studies, but also a lot of it's intuitive as well. So it's a mixture, it's the blend of both. It's just how I show up as a healer. So I would love to help you all in any way that I can. So namaste. You have a beautiful day, and be well, and be quiet with yourself during the season. Find the quietness just for yourself so you can hear your own higher self talking to you. Be well. Bye for now.